Well, I think when I did say that we should have a round of applause, there was moderately less applause because I'm sure people were speechless by what they just saw, and we're not surprised. So let me begin by asking Mr. Sodhi that this is an opportunity on SonyLIV to present its viewers a cinematic medium which is very different. All of us are used to TV, we're used to films, but short films.
So short films is an interesting new way of storytelling. Uh, what we've seen from research is that on the mobile, when people are watching content, the average time that somebody has an attention span is about 20 minutes. That's what research tells us. Therefore, when we look out and we say, how do we tell stories? How do we go about telling the issues or bringing out the issues that are there today in the society? At that point in time, we say, what is the right form of telling these stories? Is short films today the new way of telling stories? Is that the way to capture the mood of the current generation? Is it the way of capturing what is out there today? And I think that's what seems to be coming out, and talented producers and talented artists like what you have on stage today probably are putting together stories which fit in perfectly to that length. What we've also had a discussion, and whenever we're talking to people who want to make short films, we don't limit them to the size or the length. I think digital allows us to be far more flexible in terms of what the length of the content should be. So, you saw both the films today. They're both of different length, they're both of different genres, but fundamentally they talk about today's emotion, they talk about today's challenges, today's problems, today's realities, told to an audience in a way that people understand it on the screen. It is available to everybody at your time, at your convenience. You can watch it, which is why it's different from television, it's different from cinema, is different from the way any other way of storytelling is.
Right. Since we're talking about the artists that we have on stage here today, we've already seen them in feature films and TV, but for the very first time, there are a lot of firsts today on this stage. So, Kabir sir, Kushal, I think this is the first time that you're a part of a short film. You're actually doing this. So, let me start with Mr. Kabir. How was this experience?
For me, like I actually tweeted yesterday, it was the most difficult film to release. It's the shortest film that I have done. It's been difficult because I had multiple responsibilities. One is this guy here next to me, who insisted that I cast him, because as soon as I said I'm going to cast someone else, he says, "How dare you?" Then I had responsibility towards a friend of mine, that is Jimmy, and my first director when I started acting, Lake Tandon. Today, the online space gives you an opportunity to actually experience the metamorphosis of emotions, of relationships that is taking place every day. In the sense that you can be true to what you want to tell in a story. So for me, to bring in a film in, say, 9.5 minutes and say exactly what I wanted to say, I thought it was an opportunity, and I want to thank SonyLIV for it. It's given me now the initiative to actually go out there. We are putting together films. So this first is going to be multiplying into many more. And Mandira, I'm never going to have a drink with you.
So we've seen Mr. Kabir's film and Kushal's, so very stark differences that you saw. Obviously, they're about relationships, but the kind of layers that every relationship has been focused on here. Kushal, how was this? Because we really didn't expect the kind of twist that actually came up.
Yeah, what is life without some twists, huh? I think, firstly, it's my association with SonyLIV started 2 years ago when I did my first web series, Love Bites, and now I'm directing along with my co-director Suhas for the first time for SonyLIV. So thank you for this opportunity, and the opportunity is what brings me to the fact that we went on to the digital space, is because it's tough to make films as an actor who wants to break out and go approach cinema or approach television. It's a saturated market, it's a tough market, and also then it doesn't let us say the real story. This film, The Gift, could have been elaborated and made into a full-length feature, giving the backgrounds of all the characters and then some more. And then I realized that a short format is so good. We picked up the subject of a relationship and just showed exactly what we wanted to show. And I think that is the benefit, the advantage, and it's just amazing to be on a short, on a digital platform. So for two reasons. One is we say what we want to, and secondly, it allows for new people to come in, and SonyLIV has been a very good catalyst there, It's allowing us to, because people generally have this tendency, Kabir used to be acting, Kushal used to be acting, now they turn directors, who's, the opportunity there. But now it is here, we're showcasing it, and that's proof enough. So, yeah, I'm thankful.
I can add to that, I'm told that they have 500 short films. It's actually the only platform who has been promoting short films and shorts. So it's an initiative which I think a lot of storytellers would want to use.
We all realize that the audience has now changed. They want to explore newer things. In digital space, we're actually giving them an opportunity to see short films like these. Otherwise, they would have missed it, because normally we're used to seeing films. And like Kushal just said, that if it was a feature film, it would be made a little differently. What difference would there be?
You have to play to the galleries. You have to make a film because the stakes are higher, and hence you've got to, you have to cover your costs at one end, and then, it's a bigger game. My story is this much. Can I say it? Or do I have to make a 2.5-hour film to say what I want to say? In that 2.5-hour film, I've said my story in exactly 20 minutes, exactly what you're watching. So before the digital came in, that was my only option. But now I do, so that's why.
So the business of movie making, a full-length film, feature film making, is different from the business of putting it out on the digital platform. So therefore, what the digital medium allows is far more democratization of content, and platforms like us at SonyLIV make it work, make it patch the whole thing together, and help the talent come up and make something which is a little more adventurous, a little more different, with not so much pressure on what the release will be, how will you do it internationally, how will you do it nationally. The commercial aspects are taken care by us in terms of taking that risk and building out a library. So we built out now on SonyLIV, we have about 500 such films, and therefore in those films we are able to capture all the emotions that might exist today out there, and we've tried to bring in so much of talent together, and therefore we're taking that onus and going beyond what we need to do to build an ecosystem of storytellers and digital storytellers and telling contemporary stories in this new format. So that's our role. And I'd like to thank these people who've come up to us and said, we want to tell this story in this different way. And will you work with us? Will you partner with us? We're more than happy to work with more people who want to tell the story in a different way and work with us.
So talking about talent, for the very first time, you can see on the panel discussion, there's, at my left, there is a boy right there. And he's not been smiling until now, until we kind of just got our attention to him. So what was your favorite part in the entire process?
My favorite part was when I got to do Minku Cyber Cafe and I could order anytime I wanted to eat.
Okay, so these are the perks of, one of the perks. Well, we also have Mandira here. We've loved the performance. And is this a character that you kind of reckon with? Is this something that is
close to your heart?
Is this a character that is close to my heart? Is a character that I relate to? No! Right now I say no, please. But is this a character that excited me? Of course. In fact, when Kushal came over and narrated the script to me, I was like, I don't know what you're offering me, but whatever you're offering me, I want to do it. I want to be a part of this film because the script is so good. And he had me at that narration. And even in that narration, when the twist happens, my jaw drops. The beauty of short films for an actor, first up, time commitment. You don't have to give that many days or weeks to complete a film. And B, you get to be a part of scripts that don't make it to the big screen because they're so edgy, they make you uncomfortable. People think about the stakes being so high when you're making it commercially. Here, you don't worry about the release, and there'll be takers for dark stuff, and viewers love everything on demand. You can watch it when you want, where you want, how many ever times you want. So this is a perfect place. I mean, I can imagine people watching this again and again. And sorry, before I talk any more about our film and us, I just want to say, Arya, you're the best actor on this stage.
Thank you.
You were just amazing. My mom and I were sitting over there, and we had tears in our eyes when, and Kabir,
Thank God it didn't
great
take
job.
on me.
Sorry?
Thank God it didn't take on me.
No, but really, that was a lovely film, and we're so happy that we're launching with a film like yours, because both are so different in apart from length, but in the story that they're trying to tell. And no, I do not relate to the character at all. And may I tell you, it was very weird sitting with my mom, and she's watching me nearly kiss another girl. Nearly. We didn't. Or we did. I don't know.
No, only I know that, and Suhas knows that. The narration, when I saved the kiss for last, when I was narrating it to Mandira, and I said, this is the story, and she loved it, and I said, there's a little bit of a thing at the end. And she's like, what? I said, there's a kiss. And she was so cool about it. And she was so, because she understood the character and how I'm going to shoot it. And she said, okay, let's go on with it. And that's it. And that's all you saw.
May I tell you, in all of this, Gul was the one who was nervous. Yeah. Not me.
That's why she's not here. She was too nervous.
I thought the performances were absolutely brilliant. Now, like what Mandira was saying, if you, as an actor, and I've been one, you're always trying to break out and try and do something that, excites you, and you say, oh my God, this is something I need to do. And I'm sure Mandira was experiencing that when she was doing it. And this is the opportunity that the online space gives you, to be honest to yourself. Most actors, most directors, at some point of time, which is mostly when they're in the loo, when they actually are truthful to themselves, are lying. Because you're somewhere or the other looking at the economics, you're looking at what the audience is into, what is prescribed as a prescription that comes from a doctor, or what to give. Here's the performance, and I know Mandira, and I know Kushal, and I know Gul. So I know I was experiencing it sitting over there, that the excitement that they must have had while doing this, because they realized, oh my God, I can do something that I want to do. Now that's what the online space gives you. And it's the honesty of being yourself. So every filmmaker actually everyone with a phone in their hand is a filmmaker now. So I think it's a great experience.
So this panel discussion is rightly called the digital storytelling which mirrors relationship trends in society. Now this topic that we are talking about, do you agree with it, that the digital storytelling, it really mirrors the relationship trends that we have in society?
Absolutely. So, we are seeing it all the time, and what we've positioned ourselves as a brand, we've said, what do you find on SonyLIV? SonyLIV, you will find a complete theater of emotions. And we want to do that more and more, and we believe that our consumers want that more and more, because the more we talk to them, they come back and say, tell me something that I understand, something that touches me, something that I see around myself and is real. And that is what we are able to bring back to the users. This is what we are able to give to the users. Today's issues, today's problems, today's stories, told by today's artists, young artists, and told in a way, on a medium which is best suited for today's generation. So it's the latest, it's the pioneering work that's happening in this space. I think we're all in that space, and we are all very excited about what we're doing.
And fact is actually more bizarre than fiction. And you pick up the newspaper and you hear and read stories of weird relationships and murders and things like that. So that happens. And it's only here that you can actually tell a story like that on a platform like this?
So, Kabir, Kushal, both of you have been actors. You've been a part of this industry. When you got this that in 9 minutes, or the time frame that you were given, you had to make a short film, what actually went through you? What was the process that was going on within you when you were told that you had to convey a story to everybody that you could through the digital space, but limit it?
Actually, I wasn't given a time span. Uday said that go ahead and make the film. I like the script, I like the story, I like what you're trying to say. I'll borrow a line from Kushal. My whole idea was to say what I wanted to say and keep it engaging. So no, there was no time restriction कि हमें इतनी देर में ये कहानी बतानी है. I just had that much to say only. And I actually stole this story from something I read somewhere on Facebook years ago. I added a twist to it with the grandfather in it. And that story just stuck with me. And I think I read it when my father was dying. He was in hospital. And I used to crib every single day when I was in hostel. But I wish the guy would spend some more time with me. But then when I started working, I'm sure he went through the same thing. So, no, I didn't have any time restrictions that, I have to stay. The idea to edit it and bring it down with my editor, Sachin here, was simply I wanted to tell the story as long as it holds. Because after some time, they're going to switch and go. And the online space is the only space which is ruthless. They're going to come back at you on the comments right there and say, I think you made trash. So it's your self-censorship. It's your, as a filmmaker, you want to say, okay, I am not bound by कि यार theater मेरे को 2.5 घंटे के लिए नहीं मिलेगी या 2 घंटे के लिए मिलेगी तो एक show कम हो जाएगा वो वाला हिसाब नहीं है. हाँ ये है कि उदय कहेगा कि इतने में इतना ज़्यादा.
So same, like Kabir said, we didn't have a time limit. My first draft of the script was 11 minutes, and we felt that was long. So Suhas and me, we've written it and directed it together. So when we bounced off the idea and it was 11 minutes, I said, chal theek hai, people will have the attention span of 11 minutes. I know I don't. And then it just went on because I thought that this script and this film required a certain pace, which cannot be a quick edit pace. It needs you to understand and open this book slowly and understand the character, figure out there are layers between it, and then go on. And as the script went on, when we shot it, it was, I thought 15 minutes, and then it turned out to be 19 and a half. But for me, when I
Time limit is 20.
yeah, so I managed it, Sachin, the same editor, he managed to edit it, and I thought that if it's engaging enough, then why not? Yeah. And that's why the online space is great, because there is no time limit for, within 20 minutes or whatever, but that's where my story was told, within that much.
He has a nice point to make. He says, it's nice, chota chota hota hai.
Right, so, while we're talking about the space, the adulation. Now, we all know that the adulation we get in films and TV is there, but digital space, what about the adulation in this space?
It's ruthless, it's right there, and it's immediate. You don't have to wait for any numbers to come in. It's right there. If someone hates your film, they're going to say it's a really bad film. Or someone wants to comment on a character, they put it there and it's in your face. So it's immediate. It's almost like being on stage, performing theater. So I feel it's great.
I'll just add to that, we did another show, which was our first online experience with SonyLIV. It was called Married Woman Diaries. And surprisingly enough, when the show released, I suddenly had a spate of people following me on Twitter, and no, they were not Indian. They were not Hindi speaking. They didn't understand the language at all. And suddenly I started getting comments over there. I was in a talk in Canada, and this lady walked up to me, and she obviously doesn't understand a single word of. She's a hardcore Canadian, and she said, "You're the same guy who made that Married Woman Diaries." I said, "Yeah, I did." And she says that. I liked it. And I said, why did you go and watch it? It's in Hindi, it's an Indian show. She said, you said Married Woman Diaries. Close your ears. And she says, well, life is bad. I've just made it better. But it's the thing is that success, failure is there straight away. Yeah. You can't fudge figures there. We fudge a lot of figures. You can't fudge numbers. You can't, and it's also it's a way where the audiences tell you, okay, this is where you've gone wrong. So there's learnings from it, and you have analytics that take you from every city, every age groups that are watching you, You have analytics that tell you that internationally where you're being watched, where you're not being watched. So I think it's a learning process at every single stage. That's the pleasure of working on online.
So what according to you is a challenge in short film making?
Budgets.
I got my actors free.
You got your actors free? Well, I don't want to comment on my actors. They are just fabulous, and I'm lucky to have Mandira and Gul as my co-actors. So really, I mean that, because it just changes the dynamics of everything. Plus, you know, we had limited hours, limited budget, and they came in, they just got their characters so bang on, and it was just action, cut, and yes, we got it. That sort of a situation. But the challenges are just, you know, certain constraints, and we got to finish. And I think it's good because Suhas and me got to learn a lot, given this is what we have. Now, you want to make a 10-minute film, you want to make it with Mandira Gul, you want to make it with new actors, that's your call, your prerogative. So we said, you know what, let's go, let's try. And it really helped us. This challenge really helped us. If we had all the budget in the world and, you know, everything, then we'd be kind of laxed and lazy. So I think it helped us, it pushed us, and that's why. So I'm actually happy that there are some challenges.
I think one of the challenges is that also we have to really self-censor. There's no censor board in a short film. There's no like Pailash Nilani saying, ye kato, wo kato, you know. So I think the important thing is, oops, did I say something wrong? Okay. So I think the important thing is, with SonyLIV, we could really make those wholesome kind of a good film. You know, if you notice, there is no, in both the movies, there is no unnecessary shock value and stuff like that. You know, like, it's a very nice, flowing kind of film. So I think important is to make really good films, like what even Kabir was saying, very pure. And one of the best things about the short film medium, the best thing for anybody is you can really experiment the way you want to, and within that, make a good film.
So this question is now open to everybody on the panel. A lot of people are gravitating towards this space. We've all been there in a space which is much more vast. But this space, what is the charm? What, according to you, is the charm? That we have filmmakers, Mr. Sodhi, we have actors. Everyone wants to kind of explore this space. What do you think is the charm?
So I think it's about today. It's about what works today, what is the right way of telling stories today, how do you bring out issues which are of today and tell them to the audience of today. So I think this medium is perfect for what we are going through today in our society. How are we able to tell different stories that are happening around us? How are we able to tell that to a very large audience which is digitally savvy, digitally friendly, carrying mobiles in their hands, and can they react to it? Can they have a conversation around it? Can they say something on social media around it? This is the whole charm of this medium. There is very little barrier for filmmakers to reach out to their audience because of the way digital empowers them to tell the stories out there. So, you know, this is the way the industry is moving. This is where the whole business of short filmmaking is moving, that it will be far more flexible, far more democratic. It will be about issues today. It will be about contemporary stuff. It will be about what's happening around us. It will be about people, young, talented people like here. I'm probably the oldest guy here, but yeah, the young, talented guys here. And you know how we can patch it all together to bring it out to a huge audience out there.
And I think for actors, like I said a little while ago, it's all about being offered characters that you wouldn't otherwise get to play, scripts like this one, and the fact that you're giving this much of time for something that will see the light of day. What happens with a big film is that it gets made, and then, you know, somewhere money gets stuck, or whatever. I mean, there's a lot that happens between when you shoot it and when people get to see it. But here, that time span is shorter, and the fact that you're making a short film, the stakes are lower. It will get seen by people. Right. So,
and if it makes any sense to you, we were supposed to start 2 films last year. We've delayed it for 1.5 years. The idea being invest 1.5 years to 2 years onto the online space. This is the future. If you look at the advertisement revenues that are going into the online space today, there's been a jump of almost 23%. There's been a drop on the television ad revenues, which has been there. Obviously, the money is going onto the online channels. Even the advertiser today understands one thing, he's able to integrate onto online shows or online series with ease, which has got a longer spread, and you're going directly to the target audience.
Right. Okay.
That's why this investment to go into it. We're doing a lot of short films, we're doing series for that. In fact, we're coming off another series back with SonyLIV. But the fact is that this is the future, get to live with it.
So now since we have,
Sorry.
yes.
And plus, I would like to add to what he said is that you get the exact numbers. So for the brands, for the investors, for the sponsors, you have the exact number of people where the reach is.
Right.
So which doesn't happen on television. It's not like TRPs. So if I'm sponsoring some product, I know the exact number of people that my product is reaching to, how many people are viewing it. So that's a very important thing. And plus, continuing from what Mandira said, that the short span of time, and you have to say that much in that span of time, it doesn't make it easier, trust me. Because when you're watching a full-fledged movie in a theater, you're having a cold drink, you're having popcorn, and you're checking your messages. When you're watching a short film, you miss 2 seconds and it's gone. So that's why we saw everybody, there was pin drop silence, everybody was glued onto it, and it makes it equally more difficult for the actors because you don't have so much time. You have to, I've seen Mandira's first scene. I was just floored when I saw the first scene. Every little detail, every reaction, is bang on. For that matter, Kushal, Gul, everybody. But it just makes it that much more difficult because you have to tighten the entire story. You have to, there are no loose ends at all.
So now I'm really intrigued, and I want to ask both the filmmakers this question. If you had to make the other film, if you had to make The Gift, and if you had to make Papa, We Love You Too, what differently would you do? Because I'm sure you have your own creative space.
I could have cast my son, but he's 14 months old and he doesn't talk much. But he's an actor also, But I don't know. I think it was such a lovely film, said so beautifully, simply. I don't think I could change anything. Perhaps I don't know. I would ask Suhas to help me with some background music, but that's it. I mean, we would put a song or something like that. Make it a little like Ma or Papa or something. But
how would I do it differently? I won't cast myself in place of Kushal because I can't do what he did. He was fantastic.
Listen, please understand one thing. It is the toughest thing in the world to act and direct, especially if you're doing it for the first time. It's just that I didn't get any male actors. And I was lucky enough to get Mandira and Gol who said yes.
You didn't even ask me.
You were busy directing your film.
This conversation became very interesting.
So it's a tough job to
but you did it well.
And direct. So
congratulations.
Thank you. So Suhas was there when I said, if I'm giving a bad shot, just say it, Suhas. And he was behind the monitor, so he saved my life, my performance. So that's it.
I remember the first conversation when he came and told me, I'm looking for the male actor and I'm looking who's going to do it. I said, really? Why are you doing that? Why don't you do it yourself? So he said, you think I can do it? But I'm going to be the director. I said, doesn't matter. Do it. You'll be able to pull it off.
He convinced me. He said, just do it. And that was the day when I said, okay, chodo yaar, I don't have to run behind actors anymore. I'll just do it myself. It'll save me some money also.
We've really spoken about relationships, and both the films kind of show relationships but stark contrasts. So do you think the digital space gives you an opportunity to show it as it is, like the emotions that you feel?
Then say it, because we are accepting.
Hi, my question is to Mr. Uday. You said SonyLIV is there in the business in the past 3 to 4 years, if I'm not wrong. So how do you plan to monetize the content which is there online? And have you seen an increase in the past 1 year or so in the kind of content? And what is the way forward? And what is the monetization plan, basically?
So if you look at SonyLIV right now, we've got 3 key pieces within SonyLIV. We've got the shows that we create, the films that we have a huge library of films, both short films and full-length films, and then we've got a huge sports section. So these are the 3 big macro categories that we have. Most of the content today is being monetized through advertising, and we have a huge set of advertisers who come onto the platform and advertise. This is all digital advertising. And on the movie side, not the short films, but the full-length movie side, we've got a subscription service where people can subscribe at 49 rupees a month and be able to access that library of a couple of thousand films. The advertising revenue, the whole advertising market has been growing. Digital advertising market has been growing at about 35-40% year on year. One of the fastest growing advertising categories within the entire advertising pie in India. So we're part of that, and we're excited at the pace at which we're growing. And we're very excited at the pace digital adoption of advertising is happening.
Yep.
Yeah, first question would be is, like if you take a look at all digital content per se, generally there is a lot of unnecessary sex hyping up to draw the eyeballs. I'm talking of this show, but generally if you take a look at the online, yeah.
Can I answer that for Uday?
Hang on, let him complete.
Yeah, okay, so the point is the most content is unnecessarily hyped up. Sex is added in just about anything. Is this a way to just beat the censors or to win eyeballs?
One second. Sorry, where are you?
There.
Okay.
So let me start off. So one, I think as an audience, the audience can clearly understand what is the real requirement or what was not required in the story. And what we've seen on digital is when something is forced at the audience switches off, and it's very easy for him to close the browser or to close his mobile and move off. So it's actually counterproductive on digital to force fit some of these things and create stories which really don't look true or don't work well for an audience and don't engage with them. And both the groups who are here have said that again and again, that it's important to engage, it's important to keep the story true, it's important to tell the emotion or carry the emotion through the film. So therefore, our theory on this is that don't force fit it, keep the story true, let the storyteller tell the way he wants to tell it. No force fitting of unnecessary content that's not required for the sake of putting it. That's our theory on it till now.
I like the line that Uday actually told me. He says if you have content which is not only there to titillate but which is can be long lasting, it will be the content that we would like to make on SonyLIV. So I think that answers that.
Yeah.
It's not only there to titillate, it is there to tell you a story. So we're not force fitting anything there.
And just to add to that, in a film like mine, I could have very easily added a lot of sex, a lot of exposing, a lot of, unnecessary swearing words. But is it really needed? Did you feel the lack of it? Not really. Even the kiss was not a kiss. But I'm just saying that, or was it? That's part two. But I'm just saying that, yes, there is, like Uday sir said, there is an audience who wants to watch it, but there is a certain audience that says, you know what, this is crap. I don't really need it. Just because we have the license to, because of no censorship, doesn't mean that Galiyan bas bakte raho for no reason. Unless there is a scene that requires a certain swear word, and I think the audience judges that. Or close the browser. You have the freedom in your hands, yeah.
And one more thing.
Yes. Hi, this is Chanti. I'm a YouTuber, so this conversation was really interesting for me. This space is becoming more and more competitive every day, like you all are also aware of. So how do you constantly reinvent yourself? Because the attention span is not just about the time span of watching the content, it's about what is exciting, what is different. So how do you plan to reinvent yourself every time with a new film or something you're putting forward?
I think use your head, brains, come out with more stuff. Isn't that the beauty of it? Otherwise, you make the same television show and I repeat it on another channel and I make the same show and then I make another show. And I think this is amazing because it puts you there on your feet saying, boss, ek to ho gaya, what is next? It can't be the same. What is different? And it's constantly ticking your head. You're brainstorming within yourself. And when I'm writing my next one, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is done. Oh, I've seen another one like this. Let's move, let's go. So it's actually helping Suhas and me come out of the box even more, think laterally. And so it's actually one of those challenges that she was talking about. This is the challenge. More and more different, and it's amazing. Huh? I like it.
I look at it a little differently. I look at it that every single person who has a phone in his hand is competition for me. Because there's so many stories out there. It's more about keeping your eyes and ears open and figuring out something that interests you that would interest a larger audience. And there's so much over there. You have a lot of stories. Kushal, I know a lot of yours.
How do you track down, what's happening?
कि हमने देखा कि आपने शॉर्ट फिल्म देखी, हमने देखा बहुत ध्यान से देख रहे थे आप, पैनल डिस्कशन में भी हम सभी यहाँ पे प्रेजेंट हैं। क्या टेक है आपका ऐसी शॉर्ट फिल्में देखने के बाद, क्या थॉट आते हैं आपके?
See, I feel short film. The reason why I was here is because the gift जो आपने short film देखी, that is my production. So this is my second film that I've produced, a short film, and that's the reason, the reason why I saw this short film, मतलब इतने ध्यान से देख रहा था वो, the reason was because मैंने ये short film I think जब से बनना शुरू हुई है, नरेशन और स्टोरी के टाइम से लेकर तब जब तक हमारा पूरा एडिटिंग नहीं हुआ, I've seen it about 25 times, but every time I see it I get to learn something new from my own short film. The reason being because इतनी छोटी छोटी उसमें डिटेलिंग है, इतनी छोटी छोटी चीज़ें हैं, और शॉर्ट फिल्म्स बिकॉज इतनी टाइट होती हैं उसमें, इट लुक्स वेरी इजी कि चलो छोटी फिल्में बना दी, बट उसके अंदर इतने सारे इतने कम समय में इतने सारी थॉट्स होते हैं, इतने सारे एक्शंस होते हैं, इतने सारे डायलॉग्स होते हैं इंपॉर्टेंट, कि हम लोग छोटी छोटी चीज़ मिस कर देते हैं. And every time I've missed something, and every time I watch it after 25 times also, I get to know something new. Maybe some expression, maybe some dialogue, maybe some shot that I've missed before. And these short films are, really picking up, like, they're just spreading like fire. The reason being because people are loving these short films. छोटा सा थोड़ा सा टाइम होता है, उसमें आप एक छोटी फिल्म देख सकते हैं. लोग जो ऑफिस जाते हैं उनका लंच ब्रेक होता है आधे घंटे का, वो खाना खाते खाते एक फ़िल्म देख लेते हैं. शाम को चाय या कॉफ़ी का ब्रेक होता है 20 मिनट का, उसमें एक फ़िल्म देख सकते हैं. सो यू डोंट हैव टू प्लान एज सच कि आप थिएटर जाएंगे वीकेंड पे, आप अपनी फैमिली को लेके जाएंगे तो 1,500-2 हज़ार रुपये खर्च करेंगे. You can just download an app, आपका yearly subscription है if you want to watch premium content, and you go there and watch it anytime you want. And there's the option to download films also now. All the apps are giving that option of downloading films. So you download a film when you're in, Wi-Fi area. अगर you don't want your data to be used too much, you download that film and watch it at your convenience. So I think comfort level लोगों के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया है, convenient हो गया है सबसे बड़ी बात. And you have so much variety, you can watch anything that you want.
एक आखिरी सवाल कि आप प्रोड्यूसर बनकर आते हैं शॉर्ट फिल्मों में, लेकिन उस फिल्मों में नहीं आते. कोई खास वजह आपने देखा है टीवी में आपके कई सारे शो जो हिट हुए हैं, पॉपुलर हुए हैं, लोग इमोशनल भी किया है आपने अपने अंदाज से, लेकिन आप आते नहीं, प्रोड्यूसर बनकर, एक्टर बनकर नहीं आते शॉर्ट फिल्म में.
वेल दिस इज़ मेरी जो पहली शॉर्ट फिल्म थी उसमें मैंने खुद ही एक्ट किया था. फिल्म का नाम था गर्ल इन रेड, एंड ये सेकंड फिल्म है. एक्चुअली जब हम क्रिएटिवली सोचते हैं तो ज़रूरी नहीं होता है कि सिर्फ हम हमारा फ़ायदा देखें. हम लोग जो प्रोडक्ट होता है, जो एंड प्रोडक्ट है, जो फिल्म है, उसके बारे में सोचते हैं. सो हियर आई थॉट कुशाल वॉज द बेस्ट ऑप्शन हु वॉज फिटिंग द रोल, एंड ही डिड अ ब्रिलियंट जॉब. मुझे नहीं लगता कि मैं भी वैसा कर पाता. सो हर एक्टर की एक बिहेवियर होता है, एक पैटर्न होता है, एक बॉडी लैंग्वेज होती है, एक तरीका होता है बोलने का, एक्ट करने का. एंड आई फील कुशाल हैज़ डन अ फैबुलस जॉब हियर, एंड मे बी नेक्स्ट शॉर्ट फिल्म जो मैं करूँगा उसमें शायद मैं हूँ. लेट्स सी.
थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू. चलो मंदिरा जी, सबसे पहले कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन कि एक हमने इस तरह की हमें एक शॉर्ट फिल्म देखने को मिली, और आपका एक डिफरेंट किरदार हमें
बिल्कुल
देखने को मिला.
अलग किरदार,
बिल्कुल अलग. तो कैसा रहा एक्सपीरियंस? हम अगर बात करें लेस्बियन का, अगर हम बात करें वो लिप लॉक का, कैसा रहा?
जैसे मैं सवाल का जवाब देना चाहूँगी वैसे मैं दूँगी. एक्चुअली बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग स्क्रिप्ट था. ये बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग कैरेक्टर है, और जब कुशल ने मुझे ये कैरेक्टर सुनाया, ये स्क्रिप्ट सुनाया, आई जस्ट लव द ट्विस्ट इन द एंड. अंत तक किसी को पता नहीं है कि ये कहानी कहाँ जा रही है, और ये सबसे अच्छी बात लगी मुझे इस स्क्रिप्ट में, इस फिल्म में. और आजकल ना जब भी आप कोई स्क्रिप्ट देखते हैं, फिल्म देखते हैं, तो लोगों को गेस करना अच्छा लगता है कि अभी ये कहानी कहाँ जाने वाली है. पर इस फिल्म में आपको बिल्कुल पता नहीं चलता अंत तक कि ये कहानी कहाँ जा चुकी है, जा रही है. सो दैट्स व्हाई आई टुक इट ऑन. इट वाज समथिंग डिफरेंट. मैंने कभी ऐसा कैरेक्टर प्ले नहीं किया है, और जैसे कि थोड़ी देर पहले मैं स्टेज पर कह रही थी कि शॉर्ट फिल्म्स आपको वो फ्रीडम देते हैं कि आप कुछ अलग कर सको। ऐसे स्क्रिप्ट्स कम देखने को मिलते हैं बड़े पर्दे पर और छोटे पर्दे पर डिजिटल मीडियम पर, ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म पर, SonyLIV जैसे प्लेटफॉर्म पर आपको मौका मिलता है टू प्ले डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ कैरेक्टर्स, एंड दैट्स द रीज़न आई टुक ऑन दिस कैरेक्टर इन दिस मूवी कॉल्ड द गिफ्ट। प्लीज़ वॉच इट।
मंदिरा जी, काफ़ी समय हो गया हमने आपको क्रिकेट कमेंट्री बॉक्स में नहीं देखा है, क्या आने वाले समय में हम आपको देख पाएंगे? और
देखिए, क्रिकेट के साथ मेरा नाता कभी टूटता नहीं है। हर टूर्नामेंट के लिए हर साल जब भी कोई बड़ा टूर्नामेंट होता है मुझे न्यूज़ चैनल्स की तरफ से ऑफर्स आते हैं टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ इट, पर मैं टाइम कमिटमेंट की वजह से लेती नहीं हूँ। माई रिलेशनशिप विद क्रिकेट इज़ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग, एंड येस you'll see me in cricket again very soon.
Mandira, do you think now as a society we have evolved and we are now more open to anything and everything?
We are open to different kinds of relationships for sure. और जैसे कि पहले मैंने कहा, शायद बड़े पर्दे पर लोग इतनी आसानी से ऐसे रिलेशनशिप्स को और ऐसी कहानियों को एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेंगे, पर डिजिटल मीडियम में अगर आपको पसंद नहीं, आप मत देखिए। अगर आपको पसंद नहीं है, आप स्किप कीजिए, बंद कीजिए, ब्राउज़र बंद कीजिए, इट्स योर विश, डाउनलोड नथिंग। पर ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे, डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म से आप देख सकते हैं कंटेंट दैट्स डिफरेंट। यू कैन एक्सेप्ट और रिजेक्ट इट, दैट्स अप टू यू। एंड द गुड थिंग इज़ ऐसे जो स्क्रिप्ट्स हैं बड़े पर्दे पर अगर रिजेक्ट हुए तो बुरी तरह से रिजेक्ट हो जाते हैं, मतलब इट बी लाइक it'll be called whatever film that nobody watched, but there are always takers for different kinds of content which is there on digital, and then there are numbers to prove it. So
what's your take on censorship and online? Do you think there should be any kind of censorship online?
There will be a time where there'll be censorship online as well. I'm not commenting on censorship. All I know is this film, it just had a very different kind of concept, different kind of content, but there was nowhere anything that yes, it made you uncomfortable because of what the basic premise of the film was, but then that's why the script was so different, and that's why I enjoyed doing it.
Thank you Mandira ji, thank you so much. तो जानना चाहेंगे कि कैसा रहा एक्सपीरियंस? हमने देखा कि आपने इसमें एक्टिंग भी की है, आप बताइए कैसा रहा एक्सपीरियंस?
एक्सपीरियंस बहुत टफ था क्योंकि एक्टिंग और डायरेक्टिंग साथ में बहुत मुश्किल होता है। जब मैंने स्क्रिप्ट लिखी तो मुझे बिल्कुल आइडिया नहीं था कि मैं इसमें एक्ट करूँगा। ऑब्वियसली मेरे साथ जो कैरेक्टर हैं, इनके साथ 2 फीमेल एक्ट्रेसेस हैं, उनको मैंने पहले अप्रोच किया, और गुल और मंदिरा ने एकदम हाँ किया था उसके बारे में। लेकिन मेल एक्टर्स को लेके आई वाज वेरी कंफ्यूज्ड। जिनको मैंने अप्रोच किया उन्होंने ना कहा क्योंकि शॉर्ट फिल्म है, डिजिटल है। तो फाइनली उदय जी जो सोनी के डिजिटल हेड हैं, उन्होंने कहा कि व्हाई डोंट यू डू इट, एंड फाइनली आई सेड यार ठीक है, मुश्किल है बट आई डिड इट, एंड इट वाज अ टफ कॉल, बट फ्रैंकली एक्सपेरिमेंट है तो
किसे अप्रोच किया था, कुछ बताना चाहें आप आगे? कि उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं। ओके, वन सेकंड। जब आपको बताया गया कि इस तरह की एक स्टोरी है जिसमें 2 लड़कियां होंगी जो दोनों आपको धोखा देने वाले हैं और आप उनको धोखा देने वाले हैं, तो क्या टेक था आपका?
ये मैंने ही लिखी है, तो मुझे पता था कि ये मैंने ही लिखी है तो मुझे पता है कि मैंने ही लिखी कि क्या होता है उसमें स्टार्टिंग टू एंड। तो मुझे पता था कि ये कैरेक्टर जो है मुझे ऐसे खेलना है, उसमें लेयर्स ऐसे देखना है कि ऑडियंस को कभी पता नहीं चले किसने जहर डाला है, क्या हो रहा है, किसने किसको मारा है, क्या होता है, किसको किससे लव होता है। तो दिस इज़ व्हाट आई वांटेड, और आई थिंक the objective is done.
Do you think we'll see more content online and maybe the number of films might reduce? Do you see that happening in the?
ऑलरेडी हो रहा है ना, ऑलरेडी आप देखो तो सिनेमा में आप पहले हर फ्राइडे को इतनी रिलीज़ेस होती हैं, अब हर फ्राइडे को शायद एक रिलीज़, और उसमें भी बहुत लोग रिव्यूज़ पढ़ के जान के फिर जाते हैं फिल्म में, बिकॉज दे आर लाइक मुझे टाइम वेस्ट नहीं करना, 2-2.5 घंटे वहाँ बैठो, उसके ऊपर ट्रैवलिंग करो, खर्चा करो, आई वॉन्ट टू सी अ गुड मूवी, एंड दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम। तो सारा जो कंटेंट आपके फ़ोन पे है, और अगर अच्छा कंटेंट है, आप देख रहे हो शायद वाईफाई या 3G पे, सो वाई नॉट, आप पूरी फैमिली के साथ घर पे लैपटॉप या टीवी, स्मार्ट टीवी पे देख सकते हो, सो वाई गो ऑल द वे एंड वॉच। हाँ, अगर एक अच्छी फिल्म है, थिएट्रिकल एक्सपीरियंस चाहिए, सो आई थिंक इट्स वर्थ इट, बट the future is online, the future is digital.
Online, do you think पैसे कमाना is a challenge still?
I think जब आप
इट्स लाइक हाउ वी ग्रो अप. जब आप शुरू करते हो तो आपकी सैलरी कम होती है. जैसे ही आप मैच्योर होते हो, काम में अच्छा होता है, तो पैसे बढ़ते हैं, सैलरी बढ़ती है, लाइफस्टाइल बढ़ता है. दिस इज़ द बर्थ ऑफ ऑनलाइन. इन 5 years वी विल बी टॉकिंग 10 times more numbers. सो आई थिंक, जी हाँ, मेरी फिल्म शॉर्ट फिल्म है और छोटे बजट की है, लेकिन इट्स जस्ट द ग्रोथ. इट्स माई फर्स्ट फिल्म यार. सो आई नीड योर विशेज़. थैंक यू गाइज. थैंक यू.
सर, सबसे पहले तो क्या कहना चाहेंगे, जो कॉन्सेप्ट था लोगों को बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद आया, तो कैसे कॉन्सेप्ट दिमाग में आया और कैसे मतलब कहानी बनी?
कॉन्सेप्ट तो मैंने चोरी की है फेसबुक से. मैंने एक छोटी कहानी पढ़ी थी, 1-2 लाइन की कहानी पढ़ी थी, मेरे को कहीं ना कहीं वो कहानी छू गई. स्पेशली उस वक्त वो ये कहानी सुनी थी या पढ़ी थी मैंने, व्हेन माय फादर वाज डाइंग. और मैं हमेशा ये कहता था कि शायद पापा ने मुझे इतना वक्त नहीं दिया, और तब मैंने रियलाइज़ किया कि जितना मैं कहता हूँ उतना ही वक्त मैं कम देता हूँ अपने बेटे को. तो बेसिकली कहानी की जो स्टार्टिंग थी वहीं से आइडिया आई कि कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग बनाए. एंड देन आई रियलाइज़ कि व्हाट अबाउट माय फादर्स फादर, उनको कैसा फील होता. तो इस सब को मिलाकर फिर ये कहानी बनाई.
जैसे आपने कहा कि आपने खुद को रिलेट किया, तो लगता है कि पूरा देश मतलब रिलेट करेगा इस कहानी को लेकर, क्योंकि हर घर में ये कहानी होती है.
सर, बहुत सिंपल बात है. आज के दिन में मारामारी में कहीं ना कहीं हम ये भूल जाते हैं कि हमारा एक परिवार है, हमारे बच्चे हैं, हमारे पापा हैं, हमारे माँ बाप हैं. तो अगर मैं उनको बस इतना ही याद दिला, तो कई लोगों ने आके मुझे बताया कि यार ये देखने का, यार मैं आज अपने पापा को ज़रूर मिलने जाऊंगा या अपने बच्चे के साथ ज़रूर वक्त बिताऊंगा. तो अगर मैं वो कर पाया तो आई विल बी सक्सेसफुल.
इसके अलावा डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म और जो बड़े फिल्म होते हैं उनके अंदर क्या डिफरेंस महसूस करते हैं आप?
प्लेटफॉर्म अलग है, फाइनेंशियल इम्प्लीकेशंस अलग है, कास्टिंग अलग है, बट दिस इज़ द फ्यूचर. और हम अभी जो हमारी कंपनी जो है फ्रॉग अनलिमिटेड, फ्रॉग पिक्चर्स हैं, वी आर डूइंग अ लॉट ऑफ शॉर्ट फिल्म्स एंड सीरीज. जी, हमारे एक अगले एक्चुअली फ्रॉम नाउ एवरी वीक विल बी कमिंग आउट विद 1 न्यू शॉर्ट फिल्म. और जुलाई एंड तक हमारे एक नई वेब सीरीज़ भी शुरू हो जाएगी, और उसके बाद सोनी पे भी एक वेब सीरीज़ शुरू हो रही है.
जिमी सेरगिल जो है, वो देखा जाए तो शायद पहली बार किसी अलग प्लेटफॉर्म में वो,
ये पहली, हाँ, जिमी की.
तो उनको आपने किस तरह से कन्विंस किया?
जिमी मेरा सबसे पुराना दोस्त है, तो जिमी को कन्विंस करने का एक ही तरीका है. आप उन्हें ये बताइए कि कहानी है जो अगर उन्हें पसंद आए तभी वो करेंगे, और उनको कहानी पसंद आए, और उसी वजह से उन्होंने ये फिल्म की है. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि मैंने उनको फोर्स करके बोला कि तुम्हें करना ही करना है, बट यस, पहले उन्होंने कहा कि कबीर कहानी सुना दे, मेरे को अच्छी लगी तो मैं करूँगा. थैंक यू वेरी मच. थैंक यू.